Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the new episode of the Peak Signing Agents podcast and YouTube channel. I am honored to be with a good friend of mine, the great and powerful Bill Zuniga from Sign Docs Today, based out of San Diego, California. Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Derek. How are you?
I am unbelievable. I appreciate you coming on and joining and helping educate notaries and signing agents because this podcast and YouTube channel is for notaries and signing agents to be the best out there. And I always say not to just be mediocre or not to be good or not even be great, but to be peak at the top of their profession. So thank you for joining us and helping to educate fellow notaries and signing agents. Now, when did you start Sign Docs Today, or when did you become a notary? Like what year do you remember?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Derek, with Peak Signings, one of the best signing services out there. So I began my journey as a notary public in 2018, but really didn't become a notary public, active notary public until 2019. So what I mean by
Okay.
that is I bought my course, or I bought the NNA course in 2018. I went through the entire course, including the how to do loan signings,
Right.
but I felt that I wasn't really truly able to do what I figured I needed to do. So I ended up looking into different courses, and I found this person named Mark Wills,
Yeah.
and I ended up buying the loan signing system course. And I kind of like the course because not only the course was available for me to learn, was the community that was behind it.
Oh,
And
yes.
so that kind of drew me to pursue and buy this course. I bought it in 2018, October 2018. I didn't do anything with it until January 2019, though.
Okay.
So even though I bought it, I didn't do anything with it. And in 2019, I decided, well, since I bought this course, let me dive into it and go through it on my own pace because it's all online. And I really kind of liked what he was teaching. In February of 2019, Valentine's Day, as a matter of
Uh-huh.
fact, I never forget, I did my first signing
Oh, okay.
as a loan signing agent because that's what I really wanted to become as a loan signing agent, not just be general notary public
Right.
person, right? I wanted to get into the loan system, loan signings, real estate transactions. So I did my first one. It was a struggle, although I thought I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. And didn't, I had practiced quite a bit with what I had learned in the past from the both courses. I found out that I wasn't really prepared
Uh-huh.
because I was prepared to do what I had learned. But when I received my first set of documents, it looked completely different. It was a VA loan, it was two signers, it had trust verbiage, it was
Oh
just
boy.
documents that I had not seen before. It just threw me on a loop. And it was my first one.
My
The
first was
good
a
part,
VA as well. Yep.
VA too. The good part is that the couple that I was signing, older couple, they were very nice. They didn't know I was brand new. I didn't tell them, although it was the first time I was going to have something on my notary
Sure.
book. So I thought they might be able to tell. But they were very cooperative with me as I was struggling along. And the reason being is because I was trying to do it a certain way instead of just following the documents as they were presented to me as I printed them, right? I
Okay.
separated different things, so I kind of got
Oh, all right.
confused on what I was doing, right? I couldn't find certain documents. So it was hectic. It basically took me over 3 hours to complete that signing.
Wow. That's a long one.
It was crazy.
And
It
they
was
were an older
crazy.
couple, you said.
It was an older couple,
Okay.
older in age, not, not completely old, but, it's just a retired couple, but they were
Okay.
a very good couple. Anyhow, so I got through it, and that was my first one. So I did struggle. I ended up finding out that I did the Patriot Act wrong. One of the few mistakes I made. Somehow I didn't realize that the Patriot Act was supposed to be filled out by me and signed by me.
Oh,
I had them fill it out and I had them sign it,
got
which
it.
later on I found out, nope, that's supposed to be for me.
Yeah, you
Somehow,
saw their ID. You got to write it
yeah,
down. Yeah.
in the training, I missed that Patriot Act, right? So I quickly learned. Anyhow, so So I did struggle. But after but doing a few signings, seven, as a matter of fact, after I did seven signings, working through signing services, I realized that in order for me to get more jobs,
Hmm.
I had to do something different. And the reason why I say that is because it took me over 2 months to get those seven jobs. And
Okay.
the reason why it took me 2 months was because I did not realize that when you get orders pinned through your phone, that you have to answer them right away.
Yes.
And like I kept telling my wife, because I once the one that my wife the one that mentioned, oh, you're gonna get jobs through your phone. You just gotta hit accept or
Uh-huh.
available or or the option that they give you and do it quickly. And I said, well, how quickly do I have to do them? Because I do them pretty quick. And then she says, how quickly are you answering this? I said, well, sometimes 15, 20 minutes, half hour when I get a chance
Yeah.
to use my phone. And then she says, oh no, you gotta answer to those things right away.
Wait, who
Like
told you that?
my wife.
That's what I thought. How did your wife know about that?
Okay, so before I started my journey as a notary public,
Uh-huh.
I worked at UPS. And when I retired from UPS, my wife says, why don't you, I was looking for a part-time job. And my wife says, why don't you do notary work? That and just says, well, what do you mean? You know what I do when the kids were at practice and I go away for about a half hour and I come back and I was doing signings. And then I never paid attention to her because she's been a notary public for many years before I
Oh, okay.
but she only did it when our kids were at soccer practice, baseball practice, and she would take assignments from signing services while the kids were at practice and then
Oh,
around the area where the practice was. And before the practice was over, she would come back and say, I just made $100. And I said, oh, but I never paid attention to it because I was working at UPS
sure.
at the time. I had my own career going. So when I retired, she says, well, remember when I used to go away and just do a signing? I tell you, I did a signing,
Yeah.
I come back. That's what I was doing. I was doing loan signings. I said, oh, interesting. I said, you like that. Why don't you do that? So that's how I got into the notary business through my wife.
Aha.
So
Got
then
it.
she's the one that told me, well, why don't you answer
The
those
messages,
messages
request.
quick, like within a second, 2 seconds? And I said, well, because I'm not looking at my phone all the time. I said, well, that's the only way you're going to get these jobs. That's how you're not getting them because you're not replying to them quick enough.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh. So then I said to myself, well, this is not for me then because I'm not going to be looking at my phone waiting for jobs. That's just
Sure.
not what I want to do. I want to be able to know what I'm doing, schedule it, and go do it. So then through the course, the loan signing system course, I was hearing about working direct, working direct, working direct. And I didn't know what
Yes.
that was. When I asked my wife, my wife did not know that either because she had never looked into it. She just did it as a side hustle, doing a
Yeah.
sign in here or there from some of the clients that happened to know her. And if it fit her schedule, she would do it. But she was not actively into the notary business.
Okay.
So when I told her, I said, you can go direct. She says, are you sure you can do that? I said, yeah, that's what they're saying in this course. You just go directly to the escrows and title companies and get jobs from them. And she goes, well, try it. And so I started doing that. I started looking into it. But when it really hit home was in June of 2019.
Okay.
Mind you, I did my first signing February 14th with Valentine's Day in 2019. It
Right.
took me about 2.5 months to get seven signings through signing
Uh-huh.
services because of my lack of answering quick.
Yes.
And then I go to the loan signing system conference in June of 2019, and I realized that a lot of people were doing very well, making 10K a month, 12K a month,
Yes.
14K a month, and receiving plaques, awards of being so successful. And I thought, wow, how are these people doing it? I'm thinking to myself, there's no way you can do that without like getting pings on your phone, right?
Yes.
I mean, they don't come as often, or you don't get those jobs as often. So then I started talking to some of these people who were so successful, and I asked them, well, what exactly do you do? I said, well, we work directly with clients
Uh-huh.
and we get the whole entire fee and we just market to them. And that's how we get the businesses. That's how we can make this amount of money. So then I said to myself, how many clients do you have uh, to get that much work to make 10K a month? Because my
Right.
mind was, in 2020, when Mark has this conference again, I'm going to be up there getting my own plaque. I
Yes.
just got to figure out what these people are doing. So I found out that some of these people had 14, 15, 16 direct clients, and that fed them enough work to be able to make 10K or plus a month. So I
Okay.
said to myself, so that's all I need is I need to get up to about 15, 16 clients that give me direct business.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be up to the 10K level because I did the math and I said, this is perfect.
And then you cut out the middleman, like the signing service, and you're getting all the whole fee.
So I started marketing after June. I started marketing to like offices close to my house. And I was pretty relentless because I wanted to get in the offices that are close to my house because I figure that's the easiest ones because they're
Uh-huh.
close to my house. I can go pick up documents, drop off documents, or just be accessible to them as quickly as possible because they're near my neighborhood. And so that's what I did. I picked one in particular, this particular office that was the closest to my house,
Uh-huh.
independent escrow company. And I used to go there every Friday for like 7 consecutive Fridays. Every Friday I stopped by just to say hello. Eventually I ended up getting approved and getting in with them. And the reason I picked that office is not only because that office was close to my house, is
Yeah.
I had 6 other offices in the San Diego area.
Got it.
And so I figured if I get in that one, they'll get to know me, they get to see my work. Maybe they'll can refer me to the other offices. So it'd be easier for me to go market the other offices because I already work with one of their offices.
Yes.
So that was my strategy when I first started. Go with a company that have multiple offices nearby, and I can go market and work with all these offices. And that strategy did work. I did end up working with the majority of those offices, with the exception of a couple because they were further away in San Diego for me. And those offices alone would keep me busy to the point where that I was at that point where those people on stage were getting awards. So
Yes.
in June of 2012, I went to conference. I mean, 2019, I
19.
went to conference. By September of 2019, I was already at 12K.
Wow. A month.
So yeah, a month.
3 months later.
Yeah. So all it took me was to figure out what I needed to do, and how many clients I needed to have, and yeah, it just ballooned from there.
Man, I got a lot of golden nuggets here. I'm looking at my notes. Okay. So this is what I got. You did the NNA course. That was great. You got the basics down. But then the LSS, loan signing system, you like the community, which actually what drawed me to it as well. I like that they had their own Facebook group. I like that they did conferences. I like that they were very active in teaching and training. So same with me. That's what attracted me to the LSS community versus all other training courses. Same thing. Then you went to a conference. From that conference, you picked up one great tip, which was go direct. You cut out the middle person, you get the whole fee. That's how you can start making more money doing loan signings because you knew loan signings was where the money was at, not necessarily just general notary work. Then you went to an office 7 times every Friday. What did you do when you came in? Did you bring something? Did you say something? What were you doing when you went in every time?
The first time I came in, I just brought business cards. I kind of looked
Uh-huh.
into the web page and see who
Yeah.
might be working in that office, and I just wanted to get to know a little bit about that company. And then I like what I saw, and then I kind of figured I knew the people just based on what I saw on their social media and their
Yes.
webpage, right? But I didn't get to meet them the first time. I got to meet the receptionist. So I just brought my
Right.
business cards and I just left them. I just said I'm a local notary. I live in the neighborhood. I'm not too far from here. So if you guys ever need me, ever need someone, I'm available. And that's it. Didn't bring any
Yeah.
goodies, just my business card.
Right.
And then I told the receptionist because they had a front desk person, the gatekeeper, which by the way, we became really good friends.
Nice.
I told her I'll be back next Friday. And she was what? And she goes, I'll be back next Friday.
Yeah.
And I just left. I left it at that. The following Friday, I came back about the same time because I try to make it like at the same time all the time within the lunch hour time.
Okay.
Um, and I came back the following Friday with my business cards again. And I said, see her, hello, I told you I'll be back this
You're
Friday. I'm
right.
here. She happened to be there. The third visit, I brought him some goodies.
Uh-huh.
Got him some goodies from Panera Bread with my business cards again. And she goes, "Oh, that's so nice of you, blah, blah, blah." And then, but I still hadn't met anyone yet. Fourth visit, and every time I left, I said, "I'll be back next Friday." In fact, the day that I brought the goodies, she had said, "Oh, I'm gonna take this to the back to the escrow officers." And I said, "Okay, great." I said, "Do you want to stay?" I said, "No, just want to make sure you guys enjoy them, and I'll be back next Friday." So I didn't even make it a point to try to meet anyone there on my third visit, on besides getting to know the gatekeeper. On the fourth visit again, I came back with my business card saying hello again, and um just left, and I said I'll be back next Friday. Now, by the fourth visit, I started wearing green shirts. And the reason why I wore something green was because their colors are green and black.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing.
And
Yep.
so on the fourth visit, I just came back, no goodies this time, just business cards. And I said, "Oh, I'm back." And then by this time, she kind of expected me to kind of be there, I guess, because this is my fourth Friday.
Uh-huh.
And then I said, "I just brought, here's my business cards again." And then she goes, "Okay, thank you so much." And I said, "Oh," and I said, and I'm kind of like you guys now, I'm wearing green because I noticed that every Friday they wore something with their company logo in
Uh-huh.
green or white or black.
Sure.
So I sort of said, "I see, like I'm kind of like you guys now." And then the fifth Friday, I came back again, business cards, green again, a different shirt. And by now we kind of we're having a conversation now, our gatekeeper and I. How was your
Yes.
weekend? What did you do last week? This time I did tell her on the fifth visit, I said, "Hey, how do you guys have a golf tournament coming up?" And she had no idea that they had a tournament coming up, a charity event that they were sponsoring. Because I kept looking at their website all the time to see if there's any events coming up.
Right.
And they had a golf event going, and I like to golf, so I just mentioned it to her, but she had no idea that they were having that. And she said, "Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that to me. I had no idea we're doing that." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to. If you guys need any help, I'll be more than willing to help." I ended up playing in that tournament, by the way.
Okay.
So, and but none of the escrow officers were there, of course, but there was a lot of the salespeople were there. But so that was the fifth visit. On the sixth week, I did not go because I happened to be on vacation that week.
Okay.
So my legit sixth visit was the following week. And the first thing that the gatekeeper says, "Hey, where were you last Friday?"
You've trained
So
her.
she noticed that
Right.
I'm coming every Friday, although I haven't done a signing yet. I haven't met any of the escrow officers. And right, just but she noticed that I didn't come back last Friday because I didn't tell her. Um, I did tell her I'll be back next Friday because that was my line every time I left.
Yeah.
And then so on the fifth Friday, I said I'll be back next Friday, but she on the sixth, obviously I wasn't there on the following
Right.
Friday. So she did notice. So on my sixth visit, which was really my seventh week, she asked me, "Hey, where were you?" I said, "I happened to go on vacation." Um and she said, "Oh, that's good." So we ended up talking about vacations, right? And then I left again, just my business cards. The seventh visit, I come and there's nobody at the front this
Okay.
particular day when I come in. So I ring the bell because they have a bell on the front
Yeah.
door. So I ring the bell and this gentleman comes out that I had not seen on any other websites. I had not seen him at all. Like, who's this guy? And he goes, "Oh, can I help you?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm so and so. I'm a Notary Public, local Notary Public. So I thought he might be an escrow officer, or somebody that works there." And he goes, "Oh," and I said, "Well, let me take you to the back. Let me introduce you to everybody." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So this is my seven. By now, they probably thrown them all my business cards away because obviously I hadn't gotten a call yet, right? And they have their own notaries already because they had told
Sure.
me notaries, right, that they use locally, and a couple of their assistants were notaries as well. But anyway, he takes me to the back, and he starts introducing me to some of the escrow officers.
Okay.
Right. And some of them were busy. They couldn't talk because they were on the phone. But the ones that were not on the phone, I kind of met them and I give them my business card. I give 'em- So we get to the last escrow officer and he tells this escrow officer, "Hey, why don't you give them the application? Give them the application because you have to be a notary for at least 2 years to be approved for
Okay.
this particular company. And so give them the application and submit it, and then we'll see. We'll see if it gets approved." So the escrow officer gives me the application. I take it home with me and I notice that on the application it says a minimum of 2-year requirement
Right.
for Republic. Oh my, few months, right? So, but I put that on my application. Yeah, I don't have 2 years. I mean, I can't lie about it, so I just put
Right.
it. So when I bring it back, they go over it and they go, "Oh, you've only been a notary for a few months." I said, "Is this like for this commission, or have you been a notary before?" I said, "No, this is it." And just, "Oh my gosh, we have a 2-year commitment minimum." I said, and I told her, I said, "Well, what is a 2-year notary? It's going to do different than what I can do. If you bring me a set of documents right now, I can walk you right through every single page."
Great.
I was, "What? You would?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Just bring me a set of documents right now. I'll walk you through it." And then she goes, "You can?" I said, she goes, "Okay, well, I'll believe you. I'll submit the application. I'm not the one that approves them, but if you get approved, you get approved." Anyway, long story short is it gets submitted, and 2 weeks later, I find out that I was approved.
Nice.
So now I'm approved through their company, right? Then I find out, I ask, who is the gentleman that actually took me back there? And he goes, "Oh, he's the president of the company."
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
so I got to meet the president, the owner of the company, technically.
Yeah.
And so he's the one that took the time, happened right time, right place. So he happened to answer the door. And the following, after I got approved 2 weeks later, the following Monday, I get an offer. No, it was on a Friday. I get an offer for a seller's package in Simi Valley, which in California, from San Diego to Simi Valley, that's a 3-hour drive,
Oh,
easy,
wow.
one way. And it's past LA, it's north of LA. And they said, "Hey, we have an opportunity for you as a seller's package on a Saturday. Would you like to do it?" I said, "Absolutely, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So I've never done a seller's package yet before. I've only done refinances, right, to this point in
Yeah.
one purchase. That's all I've done. Refinances to one purchase. Never done a seller's package. And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I go pick up the documents before they close that day. And I noticed that she had highlighted everything on the documents where they need to
Okay.
sign the date. And I'm like, I never seen that before on documents, right? So I thought, oh my God, she doesn't want me to make a mistake. She really
Right.
just gave me all the answers, basically,
Yeah.
not realizing that that was their procedure to highlight, that was their
Oh,
procedure to
okay.
highlight where the things need to be checked and done, right? Sign and done. So I take it anyway. So I go on my 3-hour commute to Simi Valley to do the signing. It's only like 27 total pages. It was a small little
Yeah,
package.
sure.
I never seen one like that before. I thought, did she give me everything? I wonder. But she printed it, so I'm assuming it's everything. So I go and do the signing. It's only like 2 notarizations. It literally took me like 20 minutes to do the signing with this person. And then I drove back for another 3.5 hours, right? That same day. Anyway, so it was like about an 8-hour job, basically, for
Yeah.
$125, because that's what they paid $125 for seller's package. But it was my first one with him, so I consider it like a major win, right?
Yeah,
And at
exactly.
that time, that office had 5 escrow officers and within that office, and they were all busy. But that was my first one. They gave me one. And then from there, I just started getting, I worked with the other one, with the other one, with the other one. Before you know it, I was working with all 5 of them in that office. And then I got to the point where I was doing a lot of in-office signings because that's when it really got busy in the real estate market when the rates dropped. And so from there, it just took off. That office, it took off to the other offices.
So I got a lot here to break down here, Bill. I have so many notes here. I hope everyone watching and listening are taking notes. So that one you did in Simi Valley, that basically was 6 hours round trip. That's what you were saying. I want to make
Took
sure I
seven
clarify
hours,
that. Including the signing, 7 hours.
right?
Okay. So that roughly breaks down. I'm going to do the math because you said you got paid 125 for that one. So that roughly breaks down to like 17, 18 bucks an hour plus gas. And some people would be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not driving 6 hours. S- I'm not doing a whole closing for 7 hours for $125. It's your first job with them. Was that the only job they gave you?
So far at that point, yes.
Right, but then that was your first one, so you said yes to it. But was that the only one that you ever did with them ever again?
Oh
No,
no.
you were
No.
their number one notary after that, right?
Yes, I became their preferred.
And so it's crazy because some people are gonna they look for right now. They're like, no, I'm not doing like right now currently. Yes, if one of my clients says, "Can you go down there?" I'm like, I can, I'll get somebody for you, but or I can connect you with somebody. That's what that's what I did. But if it was in the beginning, oh yeah, I'll do whatever you want. You want me to drive, 3 hours? I'll do it. Yeah, not a problem. Because I wasn't worried about that payday. I was worried about getting every single one of their jobs after that, which is what you did. I got to ask you, Bill, did you have any prior sales experience or sales skills or sales training?
No, not necessarily training skills. At UPS, obviously, we go through a lot of training sessions, but never in sales.
Never in sales, because you did a lot
But
of things here.
yeah, but never got official training on sales. I mean, I did go a lot of visits, sales calls with the salespeople with UPS, but I was just the support function for the operations. I was not
Yeah.
the salesperson. Um, but no, not necessarily. I've never had any official training. So
Because it's funny that you went 7 times and it takes 7 to 8 touches or contact points to make a sale. 7 to 8. And that's for an 80% chance to actually get the sale. Coincidentally, you went 7 times, which worked, which worked. Then this is what I like that you did. Every time you left, you said, "I'll be back next week." You prepared them for you to come back, so it wasn't like you weren't showing up cold. It was almost like we were scheduled because you said, "I'll be back next week." And not only that, but you were a man of your word because you showed up the next week. So you showed integrity, you showed follow through. And also, like what you did, that you build rapport with quote unquote the gatekeeper. Because a lot of people get scared of that person, that receptionist in the front. But you were like, I'm going to build rapport. How was your weekend? How was the weather? What did you do? What do you like? Okay, I'll see you next week. You didn't even ask for, hey, so who else works here? But you were kind of that idea because you were following them on social media and on their website, and you were seeing upcoming events, and you were asking about upcoming events and how can I help? How can I sponsor? How can I do be a part of it? And so it wasn't like, hey, give me the sale. Hey, what can I do for you guys? And in fact, I'm a part of your team. I'll help support it. And look, I'm wearing green. We're all on the same team here. You did a lot of ninja sales skills here that I hope a lot of people were paying attention to. And it's funny that you maybe not even realize what you were doing, but that's genius. That's genius. I loved it. And then
well,
and
it
then
was. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, the thing of it is I really wanted to work with that office because they were
Yeah.
the closest ones to my house. So I thought if I want to work with a bunch of different offices, I have to work with the one that's closest to me. It
Because
just
it's
makes
easy to pick up
sense
and
to me.
drop off documents.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're saving time but not driving all over. But you knew they had multiple locations. So once you get in with the one, you can say, "Oh, hey, other office. I work with, escrow officer in this office, and this is what I do for them. I'd love to be a part of your team as well and help your clients." So that was genius because that's what I do. I call it name dropping because I name drop other escrow officers that work for the same company, just a different office. I name drop all the time to get in
Right.
with the new company, and it works. It
Mhm.
works the majority of the time. I mean that's great. So you're getting direct business now, and you're going up on stage at conferences and getting plaques. What's the highest plaque recognition award you got?
In 2022, I had a $30,000 plaque.
Wow. So when I first joined Loan Signing System, and I was late to the game, I wish I would have done it earlier because I didn't even know about going direct until I also did the Loan Signing System course. And I went to a conference, and as I was joining into the Facebook group, I kept seeing your name pop up a lot. I'm like, who's this William Zuniga that I hear everyone keep talking about? And then I see like you got this recognition for $20,000 in a month. I'm like, personally? I'm like, he made 20,000 a month personally? And then I started thinking, and I found I'm like, how many other people have done this? And they were like two people have ever done it. And I said, I can do it. And then and so I started You inspired me that I could reach certain goals. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible because I wasn't even working direct. I was working with signing services, but I was making 100,000 a year working with signing services. And then I started thinking, oh, I need to go direct if I want to start making like 20,000 a month. Okay, that's what I need to do then. So that's what I started doing. Started going direct, started marketing heavier. Then I got to 20,000 a month and I got my recognition plaque for going 20,000 a month. But you don't know that. I've never told you this before, Bill, but that inspired me. And I didn't even know that was possible until I saw you do it. And I said, "Oh, I can do this too." How much work did that take to get to that? Making 20,000, 30,000 a month personally.
It takes a lot of work. How I
Hmm.
got to that 30,000, because I was not looking for that initially. When I first got into this, it was just to do three signings a day. That's all I wanted. Three a day, just
Same with me.
appointment,
Mine was like to do two or three a day.
three a day, to have a flex job, just work, the hours that I want to work. But it got addicting, it got addicting. And
It
then
sure does.
I was getting more clients, and it was hard for me to tell them no, and I was busy and I'm booked. And so then I started going from three to five to the point where I was doing a lot in office signings for this particular office and the other ones around here that were part of that company.
Yeah.
So a lot of my signings were in office for the most part, and I got to schedule most of them. In fact,
Oh,
the office, that the first office, or the first that gave me that first one close to my house, they asked me at one point, "Do you want to be our exclusive notary so we can rotate you?" Because what happened was, by the time they asked me that question, I was already working with the Rancho Bernardo office, Del Mar office, and Mission Valley office. I was working with
okay.
four offices,
Wow.
and I was just like a busy bee driving all over the
Yeah.
place. In fact, it got to the point where they would be so helpful to me that they would say, "We can send the documents to the Escondido office, so you can go pick them up there."
Yes.
And they would print them in the Escondido office for me, or vice versa. They would print me the documents at the Rancho Bernardo office for a signing that was going to be in Mission Valley, or they would just move them around so I can go just pick them up. But I mean,
Yes.
it's almost to the point where I hardly never print it with this particular company because everybody was printing for me. Escrow officers just come to my house, drop off documents for one day, or I could come out to the house. I mean, we had a system,
Yeah.
but that office asked me to be their exclusive notary, to be in their calendar. They built a calendar and they just put my name, who was using me, what day of the week.
Okay.
And and I said, ladies, I said, I want to work with all you guys, but I said, I can't just be an exclusive
Sure.
notary for this office. I said, I'm already working with the Rancho Card office, the law office in Mission Valley too. So I kind of want to help all of you. So it got to the point that it was too busy. It was just too busy. So I started mapping myself an area. I did a loop and I said, I'm going to stick in this area only for any of these four offices. And I had a couple other clients too, but for these other offices, that if it's not in this area, I won't be able to do it because my window was so tight because I wanted to get to a certain level, right? When I found out that
Yeah.
you can get to 20,000, I said, okay, I got to get to that. I just, how many signings do I need a day to average per day? And that's what I'm going to do. Average that out. And that's how I got to that. So then the 30,000 came, um, going back to answer your question, because I got challenged. Um,
Oh,
there was a few of us that had done the 20K, and then Mark had called me one day and says, "Hey, there's someone that's going to hit 30." I'm like, "What? 30?" So then I kind of mapped it out. Okay, well, how many more signings do I need? What type of signings do I
yeah.
need? Right. And I said, I can probably do it. Just like I can probably do it. Just like just kind of push myself, right? Um, because I had heard that the first guy that made, or the first person that made 20K was in Oregon, if I remember right.
Okay.
Said to myself, I remember myself and Dev, I remember talking to Dev Patel and I said, how could a guy in Oregon beat us out, get to 20K? And we're in like Northern California, Southern California, and like we should be able to do that. And that's how Dave and I kind of got into it, like a competitive thing,
Uh-huh.
to 20, and we got to 20. And then Mark told me, hey, Dev's gonna get to 30. What? So then I said, okay. So I mapped it out. And I started being more picky as far as what signings I would take.
Yeah.
and where I would take them if it fit in my schedule so I can actually do 6, 7, 8 a day
Yeah.
without working a whole lot of work and driving a lot because it takes a lot of driving. Um, that's what I told my escrow officers. Like I would tell them I can only work in Carlsbad, San Marcos, or Escondido today. If you got anything in those cities, I'll take it. If you don't, I won't be able to do it
All
because
right.
I'm in this areas today. So I would tell them all that. And I would be so tight on my signings, meaning they're
Back to
from week
back.
back to back, because I schedule them all. For the most part, 90% of them I get the schedule. So I get to
Okay.
work. And it was during COVID time. So obviously people were home. So it was easier for me to like go from one house to the next to the next to the next. So I was knocking them out like, but it was 7 days a week though. And
Yes.
I was working 7 days a week. So going back to answer your question, it's a lot of work, 7 days a week, nonstop. And it's, to be honest, is not sustainable. So I did it
No.
for 1 month and I was beat. I was working like, you know, insane hours. I was working 18 hours a day, rapidly
Sure.
double check my work, make sure I'm ready to know what to drop the following day. Most of these places had drop boxes, or I can drop them off at the escrow officers' houses. I mean, I had a system, but it was just not sustainable. I was working till 10, 11 o'clock at night every single day, Monday
Hmm.
through Sunday, to make that 30K. But I did it. So I said to myself, I can't just do it once. I got to do it back to back.
Okay.
Just gonna push myself to do it another month so it's not like just a fluke, right?
Right.
By this time, Bree Hansey, who owns
Uh-huh.
the signing service, OCD signings, she's got into it, and we started competing with one another, like trying to push each other, right? And because she was trying to get to that point too, and and then so we were like telling each other, how many do you have today? What do you have on that? What do you know? Like,
Right.
so we talk all the time about like what we had each day, and we would be competitive and kind of pushing each other. And so I did it for the second month, but I realized that I just couldn't sustain it. I didn't
No.
have a life. I was working
No.
every single day of the week, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted a part-time job. So I stepped back and I looked back and I said, okay, making all this money, but why? I don't have any time for anything.
Exactly.
Like this is not what I want. So I backed off, and then I said to myself, I'm not going to work Sundays anymore. So I'm just going to limit myself to 6 days a week, if maybe just 5 days a week, and not work after 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I kind of started backing off that way, and I was still doing fairly well, even just restricting myself to a schedule. Um, I was doing pretty darn well, even with that
Yeah.
restriction. And I felt better. I just felt my body was not tired and
Right.
what I wanted to do. But it was just like I'm very competitive. So it was just the goal of trying to get to the 20K and the 30K just so I can show that I can do it because it's possible, but it's not
Yeah.
sustainable. Long term, it's
No,
not sustainable.
it's not. I was making 20,000 a month. It wasn't sustainable. I try to do the 30,000 as well. I think I got to 25 or 26 two times. And I was like, I'm not going to try to keep going for this goal. Like, because you're right. You just get tired. You
Yeah.
just get tired. So yeah, not sustainable, but that was great. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you that it did inspire me, and it did set my mind and my goals to be like, oh, I can do more. I can get up there higher, and I can do more as an entrepreneur. So thank you for showing that it can be done and inspiring me, Bill. Well, like you said, obviously that's not sustainable. So this is probably when I assume you started your signing service. Is that correct?
Yeah. So during that time, Mark and I were having conversations about hey, why don't you start a signing service? Why don't you do a signing service? And I didn't want to get into a signing service because I love the fact that I can do signings,
Mm-hmm.
take care of the signing, drop it off, and be done with it. It's just done. Like you're just done. You don't have to do any follow-up and except wait for the next day and get more assignments.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like on my own terms. Signing service was like running a business now. So then I'm gonna go back to my UPS lifestyle of running a business, right? And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I want that. This is supposed to be a retirement job. What am I doing? But I felt bad that I was turning my clients down because I
Sure.
was turning a lot of work away.
Well, and you also build relationships with them. You build
Right.
friendships.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I felt really bad saying no, I'm not available. And I was saying that very often, more often than it was that you just at some point they're gonna stop calling because it's
Yeah.
not like, wait a minute, you're never available anymore. And here's what hit me one day. I had been marketing to this other company here close to my house that I told them that I'm available anytime, any place, anywhere. Just give me an opportunity, right? By this time, I know what I'm really doing. I'm already doing very well. And this company called me on a Friday and says, "Hey, are you available today?" This is after I marketed to them a few times.
Yeah.
And they said, I said, "No, I'm not available today, but are they available tomorrow by chance? Because it happens to be Friday, right? And it's a refinance." And he goes, "Oh, no, they're not. They're only available today." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't do it." So first time they offered me a job. This following Friday, they called me again, the same company.
Okay.
"Hey, are you available?" And mind you, by this time, if you're not telling me you're gonna have a signing by noon, I was booked. I mean, I used to get booked
Sure.
quickly every morning, right? So anyway, so the second Friday, I said, "No, I'm not available." Like, man, that's strike two. So I went to go visit him and I said, "Hey, I'm so sorry I couldn't help you." And he called me twice already, and I really want to work with you guys, but just don't hesitate to call me if you need me again, anytime, anywhere, any place,
Yeah.
right? So, but I have two strikes with them. A couple of weeks go by, they call me a third time and I'm booked. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like three strikes now. Three times they try calling me. Three
Yeah. And
times I
you're,
tell them I'm booked.
yeah.
So I'm like, how could I keep telling them I'm available anytime, anywhere, any place? Well,
Sure.
not, I'm booked all the time.
Yeah.
And that's when it started hitting me that why go market if I cannot assist them because I'm always booked. So it didn't make any sense for me to market anymore for myself because I just didn't have the time to help anybody else. And because there was not a day that I wouldn't get booked. There was just not a day. Um, and so then it started hitting me like Mark's possibly right. He's right. I'm turning my own clients, the ones that I work with every
Yes.
day, I'm turning them down. I was turning more work down than what it's actually doing.
Sure.
And then now I have this new client that three times they tried to give me a job, and three times I told them I'm booked. So they're not going to call me again. And I don't
Yes.
feel bad if they don't call me again because I'm not available. So it's
Sure.
like, move on, right? And I said, maybe I should start because I am really letting everybody down.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty about it. There's some guilt in me. I don't know what it was. It was some guilt. And so I said, maybe I will. So then I started my signing service, but I told a couple of my clients only. I only told two of them. I want to do California. I'll assist you with anything California only, just California.
Okay.
I don't want to go outside of California because I want to test the waters first. And they said, okay. Um, and they would give me signings in LA County, Orange County, and other parts of San Francisco, other parts of LA or California. But once they started, then I said, oh, it's funny that I'm going to have with social media. I'm going to start social media now at this time.
Yeah.
If I do social media, they're all going to know that I have a signing service. I might as
Right.
well tell everybody then if I'm going to do social media because I didn't do any social media presence then at the time.
Uh-huh.
In 2021, I said I better start right if I'm going to be a signing service. So, but if I do that, everybody's going to find out. So I might as well just tell them before they find out for social media. So I told everybody I'm going to start a signing service and I'm going to start doing social media. And if you need me for anything, just give me a call. But I'm going to try California only. Well, one day I get a call from one of my two clients that says, "Hey, I got one in Arizona." I said, "I want you to do it for me." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to get out of California. I want you to do it for me." I'm like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
God, okay, I'll I'll do it. I'll check it out." And then before you know it, they started getting me outside of California, and then I said, might as well just go national,
You
you know.
go national,
And so I
nationwide.
so I went national, and I started with signing order first, the platform signing order
Yeah.
to locate because initially I looked at SnapDocs, but it was too pricey, and
Yeah, it's a
I,
little bit.
so I went with signing order to begin with, and then I also transitioned to Notary Dash. So I have both platforms now, but yeah, that's how it all started. I started California first, and then I just to trial and error go national, and now we're national and international if you count the runs.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, that is great. It's funny that. you weren't wanting to, but then they say, "Hey, you do such a great job here in California. How about over in other states?" And that's how it starts. That's how I started too. And my clients just said, "Can you help me find notaries in other states? Because we use this one platform, and the notaries they hire just are not that great." I'm like, I do know some notaries in this area, so I started thinking maybe now's the time to go nationwide with a signing service. So I get it. So that's where notaries can get jobs from you. Signing order and notary dash. That's where they can
Correct.
go. It's free to join. They have higher versions that you can pay for, but there's a free version that everyone here can listen to, and they can get on signing order and notary dash and get jobs from Sign Docs today. Bill, I want to transition here, and I'd love for you to maybe give a tip. If you were brand new, knowing what you know now, and if you were going to start brand new as a notary, a signing agent, knowing what you know now, what's like a really good tip you would give the viewers and listeners?
If I was going to start all over again, education is key.
Hmm.
Um, know how to, if you're going to do loan signings, not do notary work, learn the documents first before you accept the signings, because I find that there's a lot of notaries that are in platforms that don't have the skill set yet to do a complete loan sign or even a
Yeah.
seller's package. They just don't have the education. They may have been notaries for a while, but don't have the education and how to go through the documents to see what
Right.
needs to be done in each document. So education is key. I think I would do a better job myself of learning the documents first. Again, even though I took two courses, I still wasn't well versed, because it's like you go through the courses and you learn what's on the course only,
Yeah.
not the other types of signings that you might potentially get. Because in your mind, those are the documents that you're going to see or must see on the course, but you see a lot of different documents.
Exactly. Exactly. You sure do.
So it's kind of confusing. The other thing that I would tell notaries is know the state laws of your state, whatever it
Hmm.
may be. I didn't know the difference when I first started between an acknowledgement and a jurat. I couldn't tell you the difference between the two. It took
Yeah.
me a few months to figure that out, believe it or not. Um, being a notary, it just took me I
Right.
just, how do I know which one is correct, which one's right, right? It just didn't register in my head. So I would say those two things, education first, learn how to do the documents first. But if you don't know the documents, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call and ask someone, because one of the biggest fears that everybody has is showing that you may not know something,
Right.
so either embarrassed or unprepared or not knowledgeable enough that they don't ask questions. And I think communication is key, because obviously no one wants to make a mistake.
Right.
And it's best to ask than not, than ask, than
Yeah.
do
And then
not.
to guess and get it wrong, or yes, I agree. I totally agree. Is Now, as a signing service now, and you probably look at Scanback and you get feedback from your clients, from the notaries you hire, are there any tips other than these two you just gave that you would also share with the viewers and listeners?
As a signing service, I could tell you this. Since I use two platforms,
Uh-huh.
I can tell you this, that what I see on the two platforms, because we cross-reference. So
Yeah.
I may be looking up a John Doe in one platform, and the same John Doe on the other platform is completely different as far as what the education is, or even the picture or lack of picture, or when some documents are expired or not expired. I see that so regularly that it's
Interesting.
like they focus on that one platform that they may be getting jobs regularly, but not the other ones that they may be not getting jobs because of the way the platform looks. I see a lot of notaries that are expired in one platform on their documents, and current on the other one. So that, so it's like, well, the reason why you don't have any reviews or jobs on the other platform is because you're not updating it. So I would say make your profile, because that's kind of like a social media preference, your business
Yeah.
card. make it so it's the same person that you're seeing in multiple platforms. If you're gonna sign up for multiple platforms. And that's
Yeah.
just two. That's just I see that regularly, almost on a daily. I see that discrepancy.
So
Um,
update your credentials, update your bio. I see people's bio where it says, "Oh, I'm a new notary," but then I see they have tons of experience. I'm like, okay, you haven't updated your bio then because you obviously are not new anymore. So what you're saying is update your credentials, update your bio, make sure it looks like you don't have an old picture from 20 years ago, something more recent. Update your credentials, update your background check, W-9s, your experience, have all that updated on all the different platforms.
all right. I would say the same picture on other platforms.
Yeah, same
Yes,
picture.
I see different pictures on different on the same person. And I'm thinking like which one is the person?
You're
Like
right. So
which
one's
person
older,
am I
looks a little different.
sending? Which one am I sending to the signing? Which one's representing us, right?
Yeah. Because I remember,
So
because every year I would do my background check, every year, and I upload it to the platforms, and then I might even tweak my, this, this is a little different now. Maybe I have a mobile office now, or maybe something has changed, or I can update that. I just would copy and paste it in every platform.
right,
I've changed my picture too. I'm like, I have a newer picture. I like this picture better. It looks more professional. Update my picture, update my information. I just copy and paste everywhere.
right.
Yeah, simple as that. So it's simple to do, but yeah, a lot of
It's a
people do not
simple
update it.
thing. It's a simple thing, but I see it so often that it's just miscue. And that could be the reason why I may select someone else because someone else looks like they got everything in order in both
You're right.
platforms.
Yes.
So, it's kind of it's not a deal breaker, but it could be a deal breaker if I have other options.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you want to stand out on these platforms, right? Because there's a lot of notaries. You want to stand out. So what Bill's saying here is update your information, make sure it's updated, looks good, it's a recent picture, it's going to stand out. You will most likely get the job over other people.
Right.
That's a great tip. That is a great tip. Not a lot of people talk about that, and that's actually a really great tip. Awesome. Bill, as we kind of get ready to wrap it up here, I like to kind of end on a fun note. I just think it's fun, and so, you've done thousands of signings. That's obviously why you've made the great income you've had and had great success and have so much experience. Do you have any fun or interesting or embarrassing stories as a notary that you'd like to share with the viewers and listeners?
Yeah, I've had like you said, thousands of signings on my own that I've done, thousands as a signing service. But I do recall some challenging ones. Like I would
Okay.
say challenging, things that possibly even the escrow officer didn't think we would pull off. I had a call one time. I mean, I can think of a few, but this one always stands out to me. I get a call once from a newer client that says, "Hey, we see if you can pull this one off." And I said, "Oh," I said, "What do you got?" We have a couple that's traveling through the Arizona on vacation, and they're on their way to Texas, but they're
Okay.
traveling through Arizona, and they need to sign documents today. But we don't know exactly where they're in Arizona, but they have to sign today. I said, "You think you can pull that off?" And I said, "Well, let me give it a shot."
That's my name, so let's do it.
I signed docs today, right? So then I said, "Well, do you have a zip code of where they're at?" They goes, "No, we don't know. We just know they're traveling through Arizona right now. And they don't know Arizona. So they're just traveling through because they're going to Texas." And I said, "Well, can I have their phone number and I can locate them and
Yeah,
see what we can do, right? Because I need a zip code so I can try to find a notary that's going to
sure.
be where they're headed to and and see what I can do. Just let me have their contact number. I'll handle it." So they call me so they give me the phone number and I call them, couldn't get through them. I guess we're going through a bad section of Arizona, no reception. So I left them a message. I sent them a text. They call me back and they said, "Yeah, we're headed towards this little town. And we're going to be there in the next couple of hours. But we don't have a whole lot of time except maybe the time to sign because we have a limited time that we can get to."
Right.
And I said, and this signing came unexpectedly to us. We didn't think we were going to get these loan documents until we got to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they call me back. They give me a zip code. And I said, okay, well, let me start looking for some notaries. Happens to be remote part of Arizona, right?
Of
Like it's,
course.
I was hoping they'd tell me Phoenix or
Yeah.
Tucson, something like that, right? Where there's a lot more notaries. And it's a little town anyway that they gave me. And so I looked at the notaries that are nearby in that direction. And there happens to be one that I can't happen that I met actually at a one of our conferences.
Oh, nice.
And so I said, hey, do you think he can pull this off? You know, the clients are on their way to this town. They don't know exactly where to go meet because they don't know the town. Do you think you can help me try to pull this off and maybe connect with them and tell them where to meet you? Because I'll meet you anywhere as long as you get it done.
Yeah.
Sign quickly with them. You know, they just want to keep on moving after that. And so anyway, so we did that. I found a good notary, um, very reliable notary that I know I can trust. I called back escrow and I said I located a notary that is that where these clients are headed to, and she can do it. She's available. She's gonna move another signing around. She had a general notary work that she moved around. You know, she moved it just so we can
Yeah.
make this happen. And they ended up meeting at this coffee place. It wasn't a Starbucks. They didn't have a Starbucks there. It was a coffee location, like a dive place, little dive,
Right.
whatever. And they met there. They signed the documents. She was able to go back home and scan them to me. And that's the other thing that they wanted. They wanted them scanned back,
Okay.
the escrow officer. So I said, well, it's going to take a little bit because now I don't know what time exactly they're meeting, but as soon as they're done and she gets back home, she didn't have a mobile scanner. And then she says, even if I had a mobile scanner, I don't know if I will have reception there, to be
Uh-huh.
honest with
Because it's
you.
so
'Cause
rural.
so she goes, well, I'm gonna go home and scan it, and then it's not gonna go out till the following day. The escrow officer knew that. It was
Yeah.
probably for, but we got it done. The
Nice.
we got it done. Couple traveling uh through Arizona, through the desert, and it was a new client that I hadn't really worked with that much, and now I do all their out of county signings. I mean that
Oh,
one kind
wow.
of helped us grow
Yeah.
um, a little bit. Another interesting one that I have. This
Yes.
one is like
Please.
there was one in 2023, I think it was. I was missing South Dakota as one of my signings to be done.
So you've done like
And
all the states except for South Dakota, is that what you're
yeah, I
saying?
had done everything except South
Okay.
Dakota. And then I had a person, it was had a split signing, and the second signer was traveling and they were gonna go to Mount Rushmore. They were gonna go look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And so I said, but he was just traveling through there. So I got a notary that's dual a
Commission.
state dual commission. I was able to go to Mount Rushmore to get it done up Mount Rushmore so we can get
That's
the
cool.
thing that I was missing done. So that was another one that I remember. It wasn't complicated because I kind of teamed them up and see when they're going to be there because they want
Yeah.
to stop there to. So I got that state done too.
Well, that's what I like about it. You got your 50th state, and it was at a huge landmark like Mount Rushmore. So that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so those are the memorable ones that I have. So
Those are
looking for a
good.
memorable one to do in Alaska. I'm missing Alaska this year. Out of all states, I'm missing Alaska. I haven't been able to do one. I got offered an
Oh,
Alaska signing the other day for this year,
yeah.
but I couldn't
Couldn't
find
find
it.
him. It's hard. I've done a few. They're not pleasant. They're hard. If any Alaskan notaries are listening to this, please reach out to both me and Bill and give us your
Yes.
information so we can get you some jobs because Alaska can be difficult. I had to do one recently in Alaska. He was on a fishing boat and we did it via Ron while he was in
Huh?
Alaska
Okay.
in a fishing boat. And he was not very tech savvy. The captain of the ship had to help get him on to do his ID verification and get the Wi-Fi turned on because they didn't have the Wi-Fi always turned on the ship. So luckily the captain helped get us done on that one, but that was an
Which
interesting one.
which is remind me the reason why I got called on this one for Alaska is because it had been done through Ron,
Oh, okay.
and the person who did the Ron didn't do it right.
Oh no.
So they wanted it in with ink now. So that's why I ended up getting a call to see if I can salvage the mistake that was already done
Yeah.
on. But yeah, it was. But I still haven't done it. But Alaska
Okay.
notaries, you're right.
Yeah, reach out
If
to
it's
us.
Anchorage, Anchorage is good. I mean, I have done a few in Anchorage, and I still know a few
Same.
notaries there. But you start getting away from Anchorage, is like
Nowhere.
yours, right? On the boat, right? A
Yeah.
different ones.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom, and most importantly, I appreciate your friendship. We get together. I go down to San Diego often, and we get together, and we were able to grab drinks and food together, and it's always a great time hanging out with you. I really appreciate not only you inspiring me, most importantly, your friendship. I value that the most. So thank you so much for coming on to my listeners and viewers and sharing your experiences with everyone here.
Yeah, thank you,
If
Derek.
and if anyone wants to connect with you and work with your signing service, how can they find you? We mentioned your if they get on the signing order and Notary Dash, that's where you'll hire them from. Anywhere else they can connect with you, social media or anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow us on social media, all the platforms, Sign Docs Today, or you can send us an email to orders@signdockstoday.com and tell us a little bit about yourself and zip code especially. That's all we care about is like your zip code and a little bit about yourself. And then even if you're brand spanking new, we don't mind working with you, because we'll help you through the process. We like working with new notaries, by the way. So I've done many signings when first time signers, by the way, first time notary
Right.
signers. I don't mind that. I actually love that, to be honest with you, kind of help people along the way. So you can communicate that way through social media or orders@signdockstoday.com. So nothing more.
Great. And I want to point out real quick because you said send an email, but tell us a little bit about yourself. So don't just say, "Hi, my name is Derek, and I'm in Salt Lake, Utah." And that don't just leave it there. Tell a bit about yourself. Let them know like what's your experience like. Where are you from? What training courses have you taken? Anything that stands out. Are you bilingual? Do you have a mobile scanner or a mobile printer? And like Bill said, he doesn't mind hiring brand new notaries, but he did say earlier in this episode, he did say, don't hesitate to call if you have questions though. It's okay. He'll hire you. He'll help you. His team will help you out, but don't hesitate to call. Don't just assume. Thanks again, Bill. I appreciate you come on. Thanks to everybody watching and listening. We'll catch you on a new episode next time. Bye.